La La Land is the odds-on favorite, many are saying, to win the Oscar for Best Picture. It just came off winning the most Golden Globes of all time. Now we're heading into Oscars, and this is bringing up folks' concerns that it might not be the best timing to give Best Picture to the whitest film ever made. The year after, 2 years running, the Oscar So White campaign was trending like crazy. There's an amazing article in The Hollywood Reporter by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who is the best basketball player, many say, of all time, including myself. All right, here we go. He says about the movie La La Land, the white guy wants to preserve the black roots of jazz, while the black guy is the sellout. This could be a deliberate, ironic twist, but if it is, it's a distasteful one for African Americans. So much has been done in recent years to overcome those debasing images, but we still have to be careful. It's not that a black man can't be the sellout or the drug dealer. It's just that they shouldn't be if they're the only prominent black character in the story, whether it's intentional or unintentional. That sends a bigoted message rippling through our society. That's what he says. You should read the whole article. But there is more. In Elite Daily, there's an article from someone saying that they originally loved La La Land and they're shocked to see that people hate it. The folks that are coming out of the woodwork to say that they don't like it. A lot of great tweets have gone out, like this one with Stanley from The Office. Oh my God, La La Land won, referring to the Golden Globes. I can't believe it. What a feat. And then he's just like, and then gives a couple reasons for why it might not be the best time to give La La Land the Oscar, but we're going to talk about those first thoughts, 5 words or less.
More like blah blah land.
It was just okay.
La La Landing on Truth.
City of Scars.
Ooh, Brett.
I don't know what that means, but it felt deep.
The effect was spot on.
All right. So what
I'm
do you
on
think?
board with you where it's a good movie, but it's not the best movie.
Right.
It's fine.
Kim, it always just blows my mind the movies we get behind every award season that win. You know, okay, don't get me wrong. In the past, there have been some great movies that absolutely deserve the accolades they acquired. But La La Land, I'm a dancer. And I was a musical theater kid, and so I look at La La Land and think it's just business as usual for a film like that. I thought that Ryan Gosling was fantastic in the way he delivered the choreography. I thought he was the best part of La La Land. But for people to give this movie so many more accolades and have it as lauded as it is versus Fences or Moonlight or Hidden Figures, it's kind of bizarre to me. It's a little disappointing because it wasn't that great of a film. The soundtrack to me was better than the film.
Really?
I don't even think it deserves to win Best Song, to be honest.
Oh,
I thought that, but then sometimes I'm like in the shower and I'm like, City of Stars. And I get it wrong.
I
Room full
want
of stars.
Moana to win.
So I loved the movie simply because I've never been a fan of musicals, and I mean they're all right. I was a big fan of Grease when I was younger. My grandmother used to play it. So I guess I was a huge fan because it reinstalled a sense of magic in an environment where it's a lot of deep conversations, especially in my industry. So that was completely subjective to me. That doesn't mean that I think it should win. I thought it was different. It's not in the same category as like the way people were so crazed over Birdman, which I liked the movie, but I thought there was plenty other better movies that year. So I would have actually had it be the best movie I've seen. And I've seen nearly all of the Oscar-nominated movies, apart from one which I just seen 2 days ago, which was Hidden Figures. And I thought that was the best movie I've seen this year, simply because of the message it was sent.
Best Picture?
Hidden Figures, yeah. I like Moonlight as well. Didn't see the twist coming, thought it was remarkable. Don't get why Mahershala Ali was up for Best Supporting Actor simply because I thought he was in it in such a short space of time. He was only in it for like
That happens
15
a lot.
minutes. Does happen
Dame
a lot. And I
Judi
feel like
Dench, Shakespeare in Love.
I feel like it's the niche idea of like, doesn't matter how long they're in it, it's the impact they have. All right, I get it. But I now that I'm posed this question, this is why I love articles like this, and I won't immediately go to you're just being so sensitive. Like, just let a movie be a movie, because there's a reason why things are open to interpretation, and then you can go back and realize, that's quite interesting. I never looked at it that way. And that's where conversations break down, is people take an article like this as a direct attack on the whiteness of the Oscars, instead of just understanding that you might not have seen it at first hand. And that is part of a problem that we can try to address, is because you overlook it so quick that you might go back in and realize That's an interesting thing that I never really noticed at first.
Yeah, you don't have. I don't think you need to go into the whiteness argument
Yeah.
to say that La La Land doesn't need to win Best Picture. Like, like you said, it's good. Like,
It's
good. The talk
Sure.
about Oscars so white is a very important argument to have, and I'm glad that folks have had it for the last 2 years. But like, I just don't think this movie's good enough to be.
I don't either.
It's
Like
crazy that it
the
has
one that
as
takes
many
stuff down.
nominations.
Right.
As, like Titanic.
Sure.
And
yeah.
what, Gone with the Wind?
What's
Do
creepy?
you think it's as culturally impactful as those movies?
No,
I
it's,
don't.
it's so fluffy and it's to be honest with the audience, I'm sorry. La La Land to me is just so, it's like watching a Target commercial with singing and dancing that's just prolonged. And another thing too that I kind of bothers me is if a movie like La La Land's could possibly win all these awards, but a movie that 30 years ago, The Color Purple, and I bring up The Color Purple all the time because it's one of the most, that movie changed my life as a moviegoer and watching movies that didn't win what it should. It's a crime. It's sad. And also, I don't want Hidden Fences, Moonlight, or any black
Hidden
cinema.
Fences?
Sorry, Hidden Figure. No, I know. My bad. Shut up.
Oh, you're Jenna Bush on the red carpet.
Freudian slip. Hey, comment trolls, slay me if you want. But I don't want a movie, black cinema, to win just because, we gotta give it to them. We have to do this because we don't want to be Oscars so white. We don't want to come under the backlash of not acknowledging the African American cinema. I want these movies to win because, God damn it, excuse me again, they were fucking great films.
Yeah.
They're fucking great films, and that's what it should be. Brad, can you shed some light on the Academy, how they vote, like the whole process?
So after the last backlash for Oscars So White, they added a lot more voters to the Academy. And the Academy is a group of people who have been invited and qualified to be the voting population. And if you live in Los Angeles, you just have to look around and see the ads, much like a political campaign, that are run in this town for your consideration.
Right.
There's just ads saying like Best Picture, and these are for films that didn't end up getting nominated, but folks really want, and that happens with the Emmys, the Oscars, non-stop in Los Angeles.
Everywhere, buses, everywhere.
Yeah, and so what ends up happening, and they changed the Best Picture recently. I have to say it's been the last 10 years. It's maybe not that recently, but it used to be 5, 4, 6, something like that, and now it's 10, up to 10 films can be nominated for Best Picture. Now, what does that do? It's still a vote, so there might be some vote splitting that goes on that people don't necessarily pay as much attention to as they should. So you get films that fall into similar categories that have maybe similar the same actor in a couple of them that folks just gravitate toward in this town, and the votes get split. So it's hard to pin down exactly what it is that causes the outcome of like a film with no diversity winning. So that's where we're at, and we'll see. That shouldn't take the focus away from a very real underlying problem in Hollywood that I faced firsthand when I worked in a talent agency covering various studios and what stage of development projects we're in. Which is like if there's more than 3 black people in the movie, it's an urban movie, and you get that label. Like, it was my job to go for clients through all the development sheets and go like, what do you think could be an urban movie? And then you just have to say like, and when I first saw that, I was like, well, that takes place in a city. That takes place in a city. And they're like, no. Urban, which
mean
means black people are in it.
Brett, why do you think black movies or African American cinema doesn't do as well as mainstream? What do you think it is?
I think there's more people who aren't black in this, that are in America than there are people who are black. And so I think when studios are looking to develop stuff, they're like, there's just aren't enough black people to buy tickets that only speak to a black audience. But I do think that's a fallacy. I think a good story is a good story, and people will go see it no matter what. Like, and that's what they have to take into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
It's ironic because the last time, I think, one of the last times I was on Pop Trigger was when we were doing the last year's Oscars when we were talking about this. And it's not that I don't think that they are considered to be as good movies, I just don't think they're as frequent enough. So people will often be so used to what they see. And that stems from having more black directors, having more black producers, having more African Americans involved in the portrayal of a story rather than just acting out a story that someone's given to them. And this goes deep into sociology. I did a full senior project on it. It's so fascinating. Is it specifically when you have a black person being given a role, like notoriously in Hollywood, when African Americans broke into the Hollywood limelight, they were actors, and that was kind of the first role, but they were given the lines, so they had no real power of what they had to portray for themselves. And so all of a sudden, you start to see that stereotype be reiterated and reiterated. They're in roles, they're drug dealers or they're villains. And then when you start to have more African American directors and those and studio heads in charge of actually telling the story, then you start to portray it in a little bit different light. And I don't mean just in historical cases where you're going to have a black person play Martin Luther King. That's a given, you're going to have it. I'm talking about creating stories like Moonlight, where you start to create roles that other people, you might think, there could be a white person to be the main idea in that story, but you start to realize that no, you have a role to be diverse in the roles that you're giving out and the people that you're portraying. So when we had Oscars So White, I just felt it wasn't as much that there wasn't enough black movies being pushed forward, it's that the roles themselves weren't diverse enough and there weren't enough opportunities for them to play great characters in comparison to those roles.
That reminds me of when we were reviewing Luke Cage, and then there was some, not everyone, so there was some backlash like, oh, it's a black show, but it was just like an awesome show on the subject of Mahershala Ali, who was the best character in that show by far, but this was specifically playing off of, like blaxploitation roles, but like it was like spinning that off into something greater, and I think they did a really good job with that. And I think that's an example of, an almost entirely black cast doesn't mean it's just for black people. You can definitely enjoy it because it's a great story, and I'm excited for Black Panther to come out. Maybe the superhero genre is going to help widen people's perspectives a little bit.
Yeah, we have a black female Iron Man.
Oh yeah, Riri.
Yeah, and then people are like, that's not it. Iron Man's a white dude. And maybe they're just saying it without thinking, and it's like, well, he's a fictional character.
It's like James Bond's story. It's like, we can't have Idris Elba.
Elba would be amazing.
It'd be amazing. And the same arguments, those people are like, he's an intelligent, he works for MI6 and he's an English. Oh, well, actually, in Skyfall, he went back to his roots in Scotland, but you never picked that part up. So it's like they move it towards whatever sort of interpretation they form of that person in their mind.
Right.
It's not fact.
Yeah.
It's just based on what they think,
And then one final thing I think is there is so little incentive to change in Hollywood monetarily. If you look at the top 10 films every year, there's sequels and remakes, and there will be like one or two original ideas that make it into that tier, which means that there's not really that much incentive monetarily for them to do anything different. They're literally regurgitating a film that already got made 40 years ago.
Ghost in the Shell.
That Ghost in the Shell. Also, the amount of time it takes in Hollywood. What's that? Is it The Reaping? There's a horror movie, and the poster is a girl standing, and then it's black and white with like weird like serpents coming up around her. Anyways, I saw a poster the other day for a film that was in development when I was on Brent Weinstein's desk at United Talent Agency in 2004. And the film's just coming out. These things get optioned, disappear, go into turnaround, come back out, get ruined. It takes over a decade for this random movie to just get made. So it takes a while, but I think it's time. I think there's good enough films this year that are better than La La Land. Everyone who's seen Hidden Figures.
Watch it.
It's great. People love it. All right. I think we just fixed Hollywood. Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe immediately, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.